Hello and welcome to sovereignrpg. I am Sovereign and today we have big news about Eden Season 3 for Dark Age of Camelot. We're going to go over all the new information. I'm going to go over as much as I can about the Season 3 stuff that have been told by the developers, all of the announcements. We're going to go over all of the changes that we know so far. We haven't got the patch notes yet, but we will be going over as much as we can. I'm going to be looking to make a lot of content for Dark Age of Camelot in Season 3 Eden with guides and all that sort of thing, beginner's guides, and we'll go over all the basics of the game, and then we'll go over more advanced stuff as we go through the testing phase of Season 3. Dark Age of Camelot has been my favorite MMO of all time forever, and it actually ruined a lot of MMOs for me because of how much I enjoyed this one and how much the expectation of this game gave me for future MMOs and future MMOs that I played. I never stuck with an MMO as much as I stuck with Dark Age of Camelot. Now, I've recently just come to the Eden server, and I came in at the end of Season 2, so there's a lot of things we can learn together. This new RvR expansion, as I'm going to call it, because it pretty much is an RvR expansion where we're going to have to learn a lot of new things coming up for the Season 3 stuff. It's going to be a lot of changes. We have new classes. We got custom classes, so we're going to go over everything we can right now. So let's just get straight into it. So let's talk about the new trailer that came out. It was absolutely amazing. It gave me chills. I haven't had chills like that for a trailer since the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood trailer back in the day. Like, it is so well done. I have to give kudos to the developers because it is literally like on point. It got me so hyped up, so excited for this new season. And in this trailer, they released 3 new classes. Now, the 3 new classes, 2 of them are not new. Well, none of them are new, but they added a new custom class that's going to go separate to the Necro. So we have the Warlock coming in. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are worrying about the Warlock and its strengths and stuff, but the devs have stated there will be changes made to the Warlock, maybe more towards in line with the live one. There has been comments from Bethel over in the Discord and Arthur as well, talking about the new Occultist class. We're also going to be having the Vampire coming in, and there's going to be a lot of things that come with the Vampire. There could be some chances for some stealth lore, hopefully, if that's going to be coming into the game with the addition of the Vampire. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that coming in, but we don't know much information on the further stuff that comes with the classes until we get the patch notes, which should be coming very soon. We'll likely get it just before we get into the Season 3 itself, so maybe we'll be looking at some point this evening or tomorrow. I know Chandra and the team are working really hard to get everything done, all the coding done right now. I just spoke to Chandra not that long ago, and he's been doing some coding for the last 24 hours straight, so we need to give them a little bit of time before we get the patch notes. Now, the Occultist is the next thing that they added in. So the Occultist itself is going to be a separate class to the Necro. So the Necro is still going to be in the game as the Necro is. The Occultist is going to be a new one. Now, what a lot of people are saying already in the Discord, which is like, as in great Dark Age of Camelot fashion, there are a lot of people that are just negatively saying, well, no one's going to play Alb anymore because the Warlocks are here. No one's going to play Alb anymore because the Vampires are here. I don't think people realize how powerful the melee like Necro is and for pushing into keeps, for doing a lot of things. They have AoE DDs if they keep their magic shields, etc. It's going to be a really strong class for the Albs in RvR, at least in my opinion. Now, it depends on how they've done it. If they've taken away some of those things, then it might not be as powerful, but as it stands, the Necro on live, the Occultist version, the melee Necro version is really strong. So there is something for the Albs to look forward to in this. But that's all we know about the classes so far. We just know it's going to be separate. We know the Warlock and the Vampire have had some changes, maybe more in line with the live servers and how it's developed over time, rather than the Warlock that is originally in the game that was just blowing everything up. So I don't think we have to worry too much. So let's go over some of the changes that are coming into Season 3 from Season 2. Now, we have some core gameplay changes, as in campaigns and relics, frontlines, war supplies, war boons, battle ticks. So with the campaigns, it's kind of a reoccurring RvR system, and it has 10 tiers. You earn campaign XP by completing RvR objectives. So you'll be doing things like killing players, capturing a defending keeps, taking relics, etc. And when you get that XP, it will go into tiers, and those tiers will give you more at the end of the campaign with an RP amount. And the campaign level kind of determines the share of the relic RP pool earned at the end of the campaign itself. So the amount of relics that you're holding will give you the amount of RP pool that's been changed. Now, there's actually, I'll put it up on the screen right now, what the actual breakdown of a basic breakdown that the developers of Eden have given us. So you can pause it right now and have a quick look at that. Basically, the more you have, the more that you've taken, and at the end of the campaign, the more the distribution of the pool that you will get. So it's going to be really important to be fighting for those relics to do the RvR stuff, and it kind of really does help with the amount of the smaller group content, because they will need to do stuff as well, which we'll talk about later with the war supplies and stuff like that, whereas more of a focus on the 8v8, 5v5, 2v2 type combat, because a lot of people are a little bit worried because they've taken Koth out of it, King of the Hill. A lot of people are worried that they're going to be killing off some of the smaller man content, but they have made changes to allow the smaller man content to be more in important for the RvR setting, which is what this game is all about. So the changes to the relics, there's going to be some quite big relic changes. They're not going to have direct stat bonuses like plus 20 damage and all that kind of like the 20% damage and stuff like that. They're going to be taking that out of there. And instead, as we said, they're going to be contributing to an RP pool that goes through the campaign duration. And as we said earlier, the RP is distributed between players. Now, there was a lot of things that were wrong with the kind of relic system in the way that if say, for instance, in the last 2-3 weeks of season 2, there was a hell of a lot more mids and mids were able to take more relics, etc. Now, it was a lot of back and forth and it was pretty damn well balanced on the front. Towards the end, obviously, because of the chance of maybe warlocks coming in, which we now know they are, a lot of people went over to mid to start getting groups together, etc., etc. So we saw quite a rise in the Midgard population towards the end. And if they had all relics and they had the numbers, they would have more damage, they would have more bonuses, and it was kind of like pushes towards more strength of the Zerg, which was kind of bad. So they're taking that out of there and put it more towards the amount of RPs that you'll get. Now, some people might say that this isn't good, this is bad, and I'd love to hear your comments down below on what you feel about this. I think it's a much better change personally, and I think it's going to help with the dynamic of RvR. So now let's talk about the front lines. So the front lines are kind of dynamic areas. They're on the map that shifts based on player activity. So if players are like, say for instance, the mids are running everything, the front line will be in Midgard. So it concentrates the RvR action on Midgard. So the Albs and Hibs can kind of not work together, but more go towards the mids because that's where the bonuses will be. So there'll be objectives added on the front lines of varying sizes, which is where they're bringing the more small man content and the Zerg man content and working them together so we can all benefit each other. And I think that's a much better way of doing it. That's just my personal opinion. As I was saying, the objectives will have like various sizes, small, medium, large, and raid, and they cater to different group sizes. And realms owning all 6 relics always have the front line in their frontier, so it does change about depending on who has the larger amount of relics. And also it goes in the opposite direction where realms that don't have relics cannot have the front line in their frontier. So for instance, if Albs are getting decimated, which sometimes they do because they're not really in the RvR scene as much, at least that I've seen so far, they won't be having the front line to get themselves blown up for the extra bonuses. And I think this will help in order to push into different directions. Say the mids have got more people and they're winning more things, then it will push Albs and Hibs to kind of push that direction, as I was saying earlier, and it will stop Hibs and mids from going into Alb if there's not really any bonuses there with the front line being pushed in certain areas. And it also push some of the smaller man content into those areas as well. I don't know how well it will work, but we'll have to see once we do some of the testing. That's what the beta is for, so we can see how it works and how well it works and if they need to make any changes. And next up we have war supplies, and they're a new mechanic coming to Eden in season 3. So it's a temporary form of currency and it's earned by completing various objectives and missions within the frontline area. That's the area in which the like where it's set and where we're supposed to be fighting for those bonuses. You can deposit those within the realm structures, building up a stockpile for yourself and your battle group. Now these war supplies, they'll drop from various tasks and encounters, which can be done in different sizes, as stated earlier, in different sizes of content. So 2-man, 5-man, 8v8, etc, etc. So there's going to be a lot of different things that you can be doing. There's gathering tasks that will have armor, weapons, and salvage like littered all over the place that you'll be doing some collection type stuff. You'll have camp extinction, which means you have to eliminate key threats to secure an entire area, behemoths, and you'll be fighting kind of boss type content, at least as far as that I can sort of tell by what this is. And you'll have epic encounters, new faces, familiar foes, and stuff of nightmares inside of like different areas within the front line. So there'll be, for instance, if your Zerg's going to run over and kill something, there'll be a target in an area that you have to take out, and it will bring us together to fight more and get more content out of the RvR. I think for me personally, this is a really good addition. It kind of adds something new to it rather than just taking towers and keeps, which would probably be a bit of a kick in the ass of Pill's Power, who loves that, but it does add some new things, some new dynamics, and some new things for us to fight for, and I think it's going to be really interesting. Now, one thing to note with these war supplies, they can be taken off your body. So if you're carrying them to other places, it's good to actually have like stealthers in an area, stealth groups in an area, and wait for people to who are coming along doing their content and grabbing their war supplies and bringing it back to their the structures, and you can take them out and you can steal them and put them into your own structures. It's going to add a new dynamic and something new to the war effort, and I really like that idea. And now there's this is where it kind of pushes people into be able to do in the smaller man content. There'll be scaling group rewards. Now any group size can take on any of the tasks, but the rewards will be best when tackling a challenge that is fit for your party. So groups who engage in tougher content will be rewarded more, and if you zerg it, you'll be rewarded way less. So it does give a little bit of an incentive for those smaller man groups and 8-man to go and try and kill one of the things. And if it's more of a slow afternoon or a slow evening, then you'll be able to jump in there and you'll get rewarded more for what you're getting. So it is going to push towards some smaller man content as well. Now, what are you going to be able to buy with these supplies? And that is going to be war boons. So there's going to be like, these are additions that are going to be purchased with some war supplies to aid in the RvR. Now, this is going to be coming towards the side of what we're actually getting the war supplies for. And if you've played in BGs, it seems like they're going to be adding something called siege golems and bomb balls. So these bomb balls are going to run up and blow up a hole in the wall. You can use the war supplies to get these. And I don't know if it's going to be the BG leader that only going to be able to grab these, or if everyone can grab them. It depends how they're going to work this into the system. Hopefully there's going to be some ways for us to like pick and choose who's going to be able to do it. Otherwise there'll be people grabbing them all the time and the war supplies may dwindle when we do need them. Then kind of needs to be a system in place where the leader's going to be able to pick who can do that. I'm hoping there's going to be something added to maybe like the BG hierarchy, that they can set a title that allows the people to go and get. I don't know how that's going to work, because it feels like if there's not people going and grabbing the war supplies, then we could run out quite quickly if smaller man groups are running in and using bomb balls and siege golems, etc. Now, the siege golems kind of feel to me like the ones that we're already using in the battlegrounds, where we go in and give in our tokens from the battlegrounds to summon the tree for the hibs, etc., etc. And they go and attack the keep, and they take the aggro of the guards, so you can kill the guards by doing the AoEs. I'm hoping that's going to be what that is. And that's going to help some of the smaller players, smaller teams as well, be able to take some keeps without having to sit on a ram only. We might be able to double up on that. There'll be a way for us to resurrect our teammates from their in a keep that we're defending using a corpse summoner, which is going to take some war supplies as well. So you can res everyone to the Lord room. So if they're pushing in that last amount, you can bring up the summoner, corpse summoner, use those war supplies. Those war supplies will then resurrect everyone into the Lord room, so it gives a bit of a further fight and a further bit of, I don't know how well that's going to work on a balancing side. We'll have to see once we do some testing, but that is something that's a pretty cool addition. You can build forward bases almost anywhere in the frontiers, and we can allow your battle group. So if you've got a lot of people all over the place, and we've just been defending one keep, we've got half of the BG there and we've got half of the BG somewhere else, and you need to consolidate that BG. There will be places that you can put down, that the BG leader will be able to put down, to allow everyone in the battle group to actually teleport to that single spot. And for instance, we can sneak a team. I don't know how well that's going to work either, because we might be able to sneak a smaller man team into an area. They're going to set up the forward base, and then we can teleport the entire BG to that area. It's going to make traveling a lot easier, in my opinion, so we don't have to boat everywhere all the time, and it's going to allow us to have smaller teams running around doing forward work, like sort of a special forces team getting in behind enemy lines, getting us teleported into there. I love that idea. Personally, being a military man myself, I think that's a really good idea. And there's also going to be where you can upgrade the Terran keep, so you can put I guess it's going to be kind of like a cover over the top, so it can take less damage from siege weapons like trebuchets and stuff like that. And I think that's going to be really cool. I'm not sure how that's going to completely work yet, because we haven't been given any more information on that, but I can't wait to have a look to see what these things that we can use for the war supplies are going to be really cool, at least I think, in my opinion. Now, the battle ticks is a new system that's going to reward us with RP for active participation in larger battles. It's going to make it more likely that we're not going to go into just PvE with keeps. We're going to be trying to defend, and we're going to be trying to attack, because we're going to get more rewards during battles that we're defending and attacking. And maybe it will bring more people into defending, so we're not just PvEing against again, I think like for the hibs in the daytime and the EU time, where they like to take keeps without many defenders, it will bring more people in to defend, because they'll get battle ticks whether they win or lose. And I think that's a really big point, because I think if you're spending 2 hours defending a keep and you go in and we're fighting away and we're defending, you're doing a really good job, but you still lose, I think there should still be a reward in there, so it brings people back to defend more, so it doesn't just make people log off when they're like a couple of keeps have been taken. You can still defend and get those battle ticks. And a massive change for the battle ticks is going to be more normally the damage is what gets you the RPs, and the healing gets you the RPs, because you get RPs for healing once you hit like level 50 and you go into RvR and NF. But there's also going to be contributions like with like cure mezzes and removing allies near sight, etc., etc. and they are going to be rewarded. Players who are going to be performing things such as kill measures and clearing near sites, casting amnesia, etc. on opponent backlines, they will be rewarded for their efforts. And I'm guessing this is going to be similar to the way that healing is actually going to be doing it as well. So like a lot of those support classes that are not getting as much love, even though they're getting RPs for ticking off, but the amount of RP distribution right now is based on damage. So I think it's going to be a really good thing for having more support classes being able to actually get the RPs and get that dopamine levels that the rest of us are getting. And that's everything we know from the announcement so far. Now there's little bits and pieces in the questions and answers channel in the Discord, but I'm not going to go over those things yet until we get the full patch notes, so we have the full idea of what's going on. I just wanted to keep you guys updated, and I will be making much more content on Dark Age of Camelot. With all the information that's coming out, I'm going to be working closely with the developers over the coming months to get this stuff sorted. We're going to be working to get some content out there for you guys, some guides, etc. so we know exactly what's happening and what's going on. I hope you found this video useful. Remember to like and sub if you would like to follow some more Dark Age of Camelot content. I know this is an old game, and I know some of you guys are not going to be interested in what this game is, but I love this game, and I'd love to make content for this game. So make sure to drop down a comment, show your appreciation, and I'll see you in the next video. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams.